Hey guys, Devin here. Today we're going to talk about the 11 deadly sins of search engine optimization, how you can avoid them, and what you can do instead. So let's get into it. So I'm not only going to walk you through how to avoid each and every one of these mistakes and what to do instead, I'm going to also show you using a blog post that we've ranked. We're currently ranked between number 1 and number 2 on Google for this keyword. We kind of go back and forth. It is a blog post on the 11 deadly sins of search engine optimization. There is a link down in the description below. Go ahead and click on that, open it in a separate window, and open it alongside this video if you're on desktop or laptop. I'm going to use that blog post to show you how we got that ranking. It's again a competitive term. It brings us in about 200 people to the site each and every month. I'm going to show you how we ranked for it and how you can bring that same success to your website. So head down to the description, open up that blog post, and we'll get started. So here's the blog post. I want you to scroll down with me down to mistake number 1, failing to optimize your URL. Really, when it comes to URL optimization, it's one of the easiest things that you can possibly do. You know what our keyword is. The keyword for this article is the 11 deadly sins of search engine optimization. It's that simple. So what is our URL? At the tail end of it, it has that keyword exactly. Each word should be separated by a hyphen, but that's exactly what our keyword is, and that's what our URL is. It's that simple. We have the domain name, we have the actual folder that our page is put in, and then we have the page itself. Just make sure that the page is whatever your keyword is. So if you had a concrete company in Iowa and your keyword was Iowa concrete, this would not be the 11 deadly sins of search engine optimization. It would just be Iowa concrete. That's all you have to do. Make it your keyword. It's that simple. So mistake number 1, not optimizing your URL. You know how to do that now. Mistake number 2, not optimizing your title tag. You can't really see your title tag from inside your web page. You can. You have to open up the code. We're not going to get into all that though. If I open up a different browser, this is a keyword that we're ranking for. We're ranked first for it currently, West Michigan SEO. This is the title tag right here. What your title tag is, it's basically like optimizing your URL. Really, it's important to have your keyword in the title tag, but it's a bit more complex in that you're also writing for customers. You're not, again, if we talk about the Iowa concrete example, you're not just going to have a title that says Iowa concrete and expect people to click. That's boring. It's not going to capture anyone's attention. What you really need to do is have some sales copy mixed in. Sometimes you can get away with just the keyword. In fact, for this blog post, the 11 deadly sins, it's just that. It's a very long-winded title, so it works. In some cases it will. In other cases, like I said, Iowa concrete, you need to come up with something else, like the best Iowa concrete professionals, maybe a bar or a dash and then your business name. That's perfect. That's all you have to really do. It tells people in Google what you do, what you're about, and it invites them to click in to learn more. So that's really all you have to do for the title tag. So mistake number 2, not optimizing your title tag. Mistake number 3, not optimizing your H1. What's an H1? Well, an H1 is quite literally on a web page. It's the most important piece of text that you have. It tells Google what this web page is about. So in this example, our keyword is the 11 deadly sins of search engine optimization, and that's what our H1 is. It's that simple. Just make it your keyword, keep it simple. You can get fancy with it and kind of dress it up with some sales copy, but there's not really a need to. You honestly kind of increase the chances that you can kind of screw things up a little bit that way. Just keep it simple, make it your keyword. You can't go wrong with that. You never want to have it be something in context though. So for example, revisiting Iowa concrete, you wouldn't want to have your H1 be something like rock solid results. It makes sense contextually to you and I, but to Google, that's telling the search engine that this page is about rock solid results. It's not about Iowa concrete. So if this page was dealing with Iowa concrete, this honestly would just say Iowa concrete. It's that simple. Just make it your keyword, keep it simple, and that's it. Mistake number 3, not optimizing your H1. Mistake number 4 is a big mistake, not having a mobile responsive website. It's almost 2023 now, really. You can't afford to be making this mistake. It's a simple mistake to resolve. You can hire someone to make your website responsive. You can take time to do it yourself. You can use a builder that makes it easier to do that. There's not really an excuse to have this. It's currently like 60% of all traffic, I believe, that comes from mobile devices. So really 60% of everyone coming to your site leaving pretty much instantly because it doesn't work, it bugs, it's glitchy. It's not something you want to have happen. It's one of the worst things that you could do for your site because Google's recording all of those interactions, right? It's responding to not only how you react with your content, but how just regular organic traffic does as well. If you want to see whether or not your website is mobile responsive, you can either test it on mobile devices, or you can open up the debug panel and kind of check things out for yourself. So the way that you do that on the laptop or desktop, right click the page, head down to inspect. It will open up the debug panel, which this is going to look different from browser to browser, but you're going to click on an icon that looks like a smartphone or a tablet. What you're looking at now is the device toolbar. The first value up here is the width, the second value is the height. You're just going to essentially shrink it and expand it and kind of look all over the site, analyze everything, make sure that everything looks like it's in its place, nothing's out of place, nothing's broken, all the way down to really about 320 pixels. That's about as small as you have to go. No one is really going to be on your website with a device smaller than that. It can happen, but it's such a small percentage of the population that really, as long as you optimize for 320 pixels, you're going to be golden. But that is how you can make sure that your website is in fact responsive on mobile. So mistake number 4 is having a website that is not mobile friendly. Mistake number 5 is that your images are too big. You want to make sure none of your images kind of push the 200 kilobyte mark. You really want to make sure they're more ideally in the 10 to 50 kilobyte range. This isn't always going to be possible. It's not a big deal if you can't get them down that small. But what happens if your images start pushing 200 kilobytes and more is that people on mobile devices have slower page speeds, they get irritated, they leave your page, go to a competing page. You don't ever want that to happen. In addition to that, Google is documenting your page speeds, and web pages with slower page speeds always tend to fare worse in the rankings. So again, just never have this happen. Always make sure to keep your images as small as possible. There's a bunch of tools you can use like Optimizilla. That's one I would recommend. So if I look at this image here, it is currently 1.3 megabytes. Let's see if we can get that down using Optimizilla. So I've dragged the image into Optimizilla. It has gone and compressed it. It was 1.2 megabytes. Now it's down to 200 kilobytes. I can drag this down and compress it even further. If I do so, it will lose out on more quality. So you really kind of have to play with it and figure out what makes the most sense for your project. But say I drop it down here, it's going to drop down to 177. That's perfectly fine for me to use. I can apply that. It will apply it up here. I can then download it, and that's all I got to do. That's a compressed image. I'll move this out of the way here. And that's all I got to do. The quality honestly isn't even much different. If I open this image up, you can't really tell the quality difference between the two, but one is not optimized, this one here, and the other one is. That's all you really got to do. Make sure that, again, mistake number 5, your images are not too large. Mistake number 6 is not having alt tags with your images. Alt tags are an absolute must from an accessibility standpoint, and whenever a user with any type of visual impairment comes to your website, oftentimes they're using screen readers. And what a screen reader is going to do is it's going to read over that alt tag, and it's going to tell them, hey, this is what this image is of, this is the context. It's going to really make their experience a lot better. And really, without having that alt tag there, not only do you miss a lot of opportunities to rank, because Google is looking for those alt tags, keywords in those alt tags, but again, in addition to that, you're really going to hurt the experience of those users. So whenever possible in these alt tags, you want to make sure that you include your keywords, but it's not always going to be possible. Alt tags are kind of one of the most difficult places to inject your keywords. If it sounds strange or it doesn't read properly, it's best just to leave them out. In those situations, really think of the user first. Don't just try to force a keyword in there where it doesn't belong, because it's going to sound kind of strange to the user. Their experience is going to suffer, and in return, they're not going to bookmark your pages. They're not going to come back. It's really going to be a turnoff to them. So just again, make sure that all of your images always have alt tags and that you're thinking of those users specifically first, always. Mistake number 7 is not optimizing your meta descriptions. Really, it's very easy to optimize your meta description. This little chunk of text is your meta description. Just make sure you have your keyword in there. It's that simple. However, it is a supplemental hook that works in accordance with your title tag. So your title tag draws the user's attention. The meta description basically helps them figure out whether or not they want to go on the page. So your goal with the meta description is really to kind of pull the user in and make them want to click through to the page. You want to leave them wanting to know more, wanting to learn more. And you can really improve these and optimize these on a month-to-month basis by using tools like Google Analytics, the Search Console, many other things like that, but that is how you optimize your meta description. So mistake number 7, again, not optimizing your meta description. Mistake number 8, thin content or not enough content. Really, you want to shoot for ideally at least 1,000, maybe 1,200 words per blog page, per service page. When you start seeing less than that, there isn't really enough information to do anything with your user to kind of bring them through a process and make them want to buy. Or if it's someone who's reading your content, chances are you're not going to be able to answer every question they have in 500 words and 400 words. And in addition to that, it tells Google that you don't have enough information to write about when it comes to the topic, so it's less likely to see you as an authority. So once you understand the keyword you're going to write the page for, whether it's a service page or a blog page, you're going to look at the top 5 people who are ranking for that keyword. You're going to look at the word count of the first result, the second result, all the way down to the 5th. You're going to take the average of that, add 200 to 500 words on top of that, and that's a pretty safe guesstimation for how much you should be writing for that specific page, and that's all you really got to do. So never make the mistake of not having enough content. Always go above and beyond, and you shouldn't have really much issue ranking. Just, never have thin content. Mistake number 8. Mistake number 9, it's a big mistake. Never do this. Never copy content. Whether you're writing a blog page or a service page, never take someone else's content and try to change 10, 20, 50%. Don't do this. Take your own research, your own expertise, experiences, whatever you have that you can use to write about the topic, use that. It should come from within you. You should never copy it from someone else. Google is not dumb. They do not play around with this. They will drop the hammer. You will cry. It's not a good thing. Just avoid it at all costs. If you don't have enough within you to write about a topic, you probably shouldn't be writing about it in the first place, right? So just, if you want to write about something and you don't know what you should write about, just take the time to watch some YouTube videos, read some books, read some blog posts, educate yourself on the topic, and then write about it. But you never want to make this mistake. Never copy content. Not only because Google is going to punish you, but even if Google never punished you for it, you're going to have a reputation of a thief, of a content thief. You're not going to have a very authoritative, respectable, trustworthy relationship in your industry, in your niche, and that's just something you don't want to do. Take the time, write something from yourself, from your own experiences. You'll thank me later. Just never make this mistake. Never copy content. So mistake number 10 kind of goes with mistake number 9, not doing your research before you write your content. You don't just want to pull stuff out of your rear end. You have to make sure that what you're writing about is reliable, consistent, quality, up-to-date information. Not only will your industry peg you as someone who isn't reliable, isn't trustworthy in terms of your information, but Google has a ton of information on whatever topic you're writing about, and they can easily tell, hey, this information doesn't match anything else. This is not accurate, and it's going to be a lot less likely to promote you to anyone. So make sure that you always take your time and that the information you're putting out is quality. You want to make sure that you provide the best experience to your users, and you're not going to be able to do that providing poor information to your users. So mistake number 10 is failing to do research before you make your content. So finally, mistake number 11, take the time to promote your content. You want to make sure you're making content you can really be proud of, because you're going to be sharing it on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram, Twitter, all the social media platforms, YouTube like we are right now. Trust me, you will annoy your family and friends, but it's worth it. You're going to tell Google that you as the content creator care about your content, and Google will care about it as well. It's going to promote it a lot faster. It's going to show up on Google faster. There's so many valuable things that are conveyed when you do this simple step. This does so many good things for your content. You cannot afford to not do this step. Just, again, do not make this mistake. Never have a failure to promote your content. And with that, that's the end of the video. If you made it through this far, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Look out for us every single week. We're going to be here making a video. Every 3 to 4 days we come out with blog posts, so keep an eye out for those. And if you have any questions or suggestions, just leave a comment down below. And until then, as always, thank you so much for stopping by, and have a good day.